numbers of African American women in Maryland and across the nation are leaving traditional church worship. All of them are in search of something else, a spiritual belief that connects them to their ancestors and where they can feel more empowered to control their own well-being. They have found it in ancient forms of spiritual contact. Some call it witchcraft, a term they accept and embrace. This too is an ancient art of worshiping, not to God the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, but to spirits and deities that span the oceans and date back to pre-slavery days in Africa. Are you in fact witches?
Whatever the situation calls for. So if you come to me with pleasantries, you're being respectful, you'll get Glinda, the good witch of the suburbs. But if you come at me with negativity and meanness and disrespect, then you'll get Eveline. Your worst nightmare.
They have many names and titles and ranks within their belief system. They are college-educated professional women who've chosen to believe that theirs is a truer example of worship that is inclusive of the genders. It connects them, they say, to their ancestors and fills a need not found in traditional worship, but most of them grew up in the church.
I was raised Christian, all Christians in my family. In fact, my grandfather was a preacher in the South.
I also grew up Christian. I grew up Anglican in the Episcopal Church. The older I got, the more disconnect I felt.
I was raised Baptist. My father is a deacon. My mom a deaconess. I was in church all the time.
These women are part of a sect, Ile Ola Afefe Osameji, spiritual temple. They worship and offer prayers to Oshun, a predominant deity.
The deity or the Orisha of aesthetics, beauty, sex, sensuality.
They are growing numbers of African American women who have chosen for themselves a new life, leaving the church in search of more meaning in their lives. And yes, it can be called witchcraft. At a recent convention in Baltimore, more than 200 witches gathered, a sisterhood, but their spells are for good, not for evil. In this ritual, the women are preparing an offering to Oshun on behalf of a woman in California who's looking for a mate. The ama-type dish is sweetened with honey, believed to be a favorite of Oshun. Prayers are said over the offering and for the woman in need. A portion is offered to Eshu, the male counterpart of Oshun, and placed in a secret place beneath the stairs of this Odenton home. Using shells, they ask the spirit if she is pleased. 4 shells are tossed to the floor, 2 land up, 2 land down. Balance. The gift is accepted.
She accepts it.
The traditions may seem odd to most, a mystery to some, complex and multi-layered. These daughters of the moon, followers of Oshun, women, powerful, determined, and understanding, say there is nothing to fear.
Shalom, Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH BaHashem, YAHAWASHI BaHashem, Rakwadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the mighty Akim, Wathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity, as well as a speckled bird that may look like the other nations, but are actually Yasharallah. This is Brother Cub coming at you with another lesson. Today's lesson, I want to go into this whole witch thing, and I just feel like this type of stuff, like this is some like willful, demonic, willful, evil, willful, I don't know what word to use, but like it's just so like I don't know. I don't even know what term I should use, but I do know that it is against YAHAWAH, and that's really the main thing. But the stuff here is that one thing that I've always kind of, and I think even people today, they also acknowledge that, and it's basically that when it comes to witches and stuff like that and witchcraft, people, you'd be surprised at how many people, even Edomites, actually like take this like witchcraft stuff seriously. All right, like, and when I say that, I don't mean in the sense of like they practice it. I mean in the sense of like if a woman says, "Oh, I'm a witch" or whatever, I can put a hex or curse on you, then natural. What happens is that people will it's not that, and it's not that Slakia, because I have to correct myself, because in a way I am kind of talking on the carnal side of it and the spiritual side of it. But so basically what it is that to some degree people do acknowledge the power, if you will, of witches, and in the sense of like demonic witchcraft and shit like that does exist. That definitely exists. Well, not necessarily. Slakia, again, and this is why I'm trying to be so careful about how I'm wording this, because when it comes to the belief, if you ask someone, "Oh, do you believe in witchcraft?" then more times than not, most people would say, "Oh, no, I don't really believe in that stuff." But if someone sees like a real life woman saying, "Oh, I'm a witch, I can curse, or I can do this," and stuff like that, some people, I'll say maybe around 50%, while they might have said, I don't believe in witchcraft, they will definitely, kind of be a bit apprehensive on letting some random hag curse them and stuff like that. Maybe except for Esau Edom, who doesn't really have any sort of danger sense and stuff like that to be thinking like that. But even then, for us, it's like, let me avoid this type of stuff or whatever. And even with me, I used to be like that, where I would avoid stuff like this, and I would not allow myself to be associated or even moving around with people like this. So to a degree, yes, I kind of want to say I do believe in it, but I don't believe it in the sense of like, oh, this is my doctrine, this is my belief, and stuff like that. And which is why I'm trying so hard to be so specific in my wording, because I don't want to say I believe in it as in the sense of like, oh, I practice it. Because oftentimes when people say that they believe in stuff, it often implies, I guess, that there is some level or some form of practice that goes in onto it, which is not the case for most people. So as a result of that, to further clarify my point, the thing here is that this whole witchcraft thing, it's a matter of how can we it's a matter of staying away from that stuff, because even then there was this there was just a lot of talk on this whole witchcraft thing, and I've heard a lot of different like fucked up stuff. I'm not gonna get into it now, but I've definitely heard some things that we should be aware of, be careful of. All right, now to go further into this, let me get this. So Exodus chapter 22 verse 18, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. And now what I'm saying, I'm not bringing this up to say, oh, they need to be put to death or anything. I'm bringing this up to show that this is something that YAHAWAH just absolutely does not associate with, and he does not approve of. And on top of not approving of it, it's also a matter of I'm trying to think of a thing. It's also a matter of, these are the types of people that put people's lives in danger, with this whole demonic poison stuff. All right, so bear with me one moment. And Slaki, another thing about witchcraft is, drugs. So bear with me one moment. Slakia. So as I was saying, one of the things about witchcraft is that it's not always based in some sort of supernatural magic. It is also, I was actually hearing that, because it was hold on, let me see if I can find it. It was fuck? Is witchcraft? Oh, it was blue letter. Blue letter. Yeah, let me see if it's here. Witchcraft. I don't think this is the one, but let's see. So divination, the biblical usage is divination, witchcraft of the nations, Balaam, of false prophets in a good sense. Let me get another definition. I want to see if I can find, because there's multiple definitions, and I remember doing a lesson on this. Yeah, there's a second definition. So here. To practice witchcraft or sorcery, use witchcraft, sorcerer, sorceress, particle. Again, not what I wanted. Can I? Slakia. Can I zoom out with this? I think this is it, maybe. Oh, pharmakeia here. This is what I searched.
Strong's G 5331. Pharmakeia.
Pharmakeia. So this is the definition of witchcraft. One of the definitions of witchcraft, which is in the scriptures, and it says the use or the administering of drugs, poisoning, sorcery, magical arts, often found in connection with idolatry and fostered by it. Medif, the deceptions and seduction of idolatry. So this is, or Slakia, witchcraft is all encompassing in all these things, which one of those things is, drugs, okay? Administering drugs, putting drugs in to, kind of, what's the word? What's the damn word? Drugs in the sense of this whole thing, this like the concoctions that these people make, those those witches cauldrons and stuff like that, where they're mixing stuff. That's basically what it is. All right. So yeah, like potions and stuff. All right, and then poisoning. So that's a part of the whole thing, and that's what these women are doing. So yes, it is the whole supernatural thing that people not naturally associate with it, but it's also the whole drug thing as well, like potions, as you have heard of. All right. So as a result of that, like people like this would be viewed as an abomination unto YAHAWAH. All right. So as a result of that, a lot of these women were saying that, oh, we grew up Christians or whatever. Well, YAHAWAH, if they are still holding on to that, which I don't know if they do, it was kind of ambiguous whether they follow that. I think it's like they do. I think, I'm not saying definitively, but I think that they do, but they don't want to be held accountable by what the scriptures actually says. So they pick and choose what they want to believe. That's basically seemingly what it appears to be. So continuing on, Sirach 25 verse 24, of the woman came in the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. And that's basically the thing here, where you have this whole thing of learning all this witchcraft and stuff like that, and changing the doctrine to be what you want it to be, rather than accepting the words of YAHAWASHI at face value. Okay, and that's the thing. Simply because people don't want to listen to what YAHAWASHI says, and that's where these new doctrines come out the woodworks, for them to say, oh, this is why I believe, this is what I do want to do, this is X, Y, and Z, and stuff like that, rather than just, okay, YAHAWASHI said something, I'm going to follow it to a T and get right with him, rather than doing whatever. But because we live in Babylon, and Babylon promotes this type of behavior, then there is no real accountability, because who's going to hold them accountable for their actions? Definitely not Esau. All right. Now continuing on, Ephesians chapter 4 verse 14, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the slave men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. And this is an example of that, where you have these people that are congregating, these women that are congregating, saying, oh, let's do this whole witchcraft thing, let's go do this thing or whatever. All right, making a whole ass religion. I don't know if it's a religion, but just following. But I think religion has like a specific definition, but I think this still does follow it. But outside of that, even when they were talking about, their whole God thing, Oshu or whatever the fuck, Oshu said
prayers
that.
to Oshun.
Yeah, basically that. When their God that they follow, Slakia, by the way, is Yahawadah, 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 what their God, Slakia. Because you're not supposed to say, we're supposed to abstain from making mentions of other gods, and I shouldn't have said that name. So, Slakia, Yahawadah, forgive me. Anyway, 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 7, likewise ye husbands dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. And then we also pair that with this, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 11, and for this cause Yahweh shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Which the thing here is that rather than holding on to the righteousness of Yahawadah, they would rather go against it, go against, what Yahawadah established and what Yahawadah set up, and say, oh, I want to do this, or I want to do that, or whatever, instead of just, I'm going to stick to righteousness, stick to what Yahawadah put in place. All right, and then as a result of that, you got this, where you have these people that are hearing about this type of stuff and trying to find any avenue to get what they want, rather than just waiting for Yahawadah, being patient. Okay, because that's what Yahawadah. Hold on, let me actually get that. It was Psalms 27 verse 14. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Okay, and that's the thing, basically having patience and waiting for Yahawadah to bless you, to give you what you want, rather than you just thinking, oh, I'm going to do whatever I want, I'm going to X, Y, and Z, or some shit like that. All right. 1 Samuel 15 verse 23, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. It's basically this also ties into witchcraft, because again, this shows the rebellion to want to go against what Yahawadah established, what these people know, because they all said that they were raised Christian, or most of them at least, and that claiming to be a witch, being a witch, or whatever, and all that stuff is against Yahawadah, but yet they still went and did it. All right, so that's just another part of the witchcraft that they're practicing by not following in line with what Yahawadah said. He said not to do that type of shit, and yet they're still doing it. They don't care. All right. Isaiah chapter 8 verse 20 Slakia. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, is because there is no light in them. And of course, you can't be. Again, like Slakia, I guess it's very hard for me to really make that statement, because I don't know for a fact if they actually do still follow the Bible, or claim to follow the Bible, or claim to follow Yahawadah. I don't know. It's a bit confusing to me, but the main thing is that they're not, they've made their choice. Romans chapter 8 verse 31, what shall we say then to these things? If Yahweh be for us, who can be against us? And this reminds me, all right, of in general, how when it comes to these whole curses and stuff like that, we have Yahawadah who has power over all, where he's not going to allow these curses to get upon us, where you have these gypsies and shit or whatever, sending evil towards us, and instead of that coming upon us, it stays away from us. And I forgot where's that precept? Oh shit, hold on. So let's see. Okay, so let's read together, okay? So Nehemiah chapter 13 verse 2, because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them, howbeit our power turned the curse into a blessing. So, oh wow, that is definitely something that is amazing to see. So the Ammonites and the Moabites, they had hired Balaam, basically called on their God to curse us. And when that happened, Yahawadah, he basically negated the curse and changed it into a blessing for us instead. Like, that is some next level protection. Like, if you are right with Yahawadah, you don't have to worry about curses, because the Lord just not going to allow a curse to get on you. He's going to make sure that, this curse that these devils tried to put on you, I'm not going to let it reach you. I'm not going to let it harm you. Instead, I'm going to reverse engineer it, all that shit, and make it into something that it's a blessing rather than a curse. That just goes to show. Hold on, because again, where is it? Romans chapter 8 verse 31. What shall we say then to these things? If Yahweh be for us, who can be against us? So who can be against us if Yahweh is protecting us and making sure that we don't ever have to go through this stuff? All right, like, that's the beauty of it. All right, so call Yahweh Yahweh. So with that, I pray this testimony is edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh Shem Yahawashi Shem Kwakwadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Mill, Son of Abba, and Shalom.